Hey everybody, this is Mike LaPone from Symphony X and Mike LaPone's Silent Assassins, and this is SAGAS.
What's going on, everybody? This is Corbin, the Serpent Tongue Skipper, and I'm here with a very special guest. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
I am the GOAT. My name is Michael Anthony Gerard when it comes to credits, but that's what people know me as. The band's name is the GOAT and Your Mom. Stands for the God of All Texas and Your Masters of Menace.
Oh, wow. There you go. I actually didn't know that.
More people are going to know who I am when you say quack like a duck, whether it be, the Tosh.0 or the YouTube video that is now gone. I put it up on my Pornhub. If you look up the GOAT and Your Mom, all one word with the word "the" in front of the GOAT and Your Mom, all one word, it'll pop up on the Pornhub, although I've heard Pornhub is now illegal in Arkansas. I don't know how true this is, but, well, I guess if you're in Arkansas, you still can't see the Quack Like a Duck video unless you search really hard.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure it says somewhere else as well. I'm sure people pop it up on the YouTube every now and then it gets taken down. Whatever it is, I think there was a little too much touching for YouTube to be happy with it anymore with today's standards. It was up for a decade though. Damn near a decade it was up before YouTube was like, okay, yeah, we're going to take it down. But it was getting YouTube business for the longest time, so they're not going to take down something that's giving them business.
Yeah.
And it was considered okay back then, I guess. I don't know. Things change.
Well, I remember first seeing it on Ray William Johnson. He posted a short thing of it.
Familiar what that is, but
yeah, he's a YouTube blogger. Yeah, he's like a Tosh kind of guy, and he posted a bit of
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's how I first heard of you.
There were a few others that threw it on their show as well.
Yeah, very nostalgic for sure for me anyway.
So at this point, I knew once I hit the 10-year mark, I would hit a nostalgia point to where it would be a second run at the flash in the pan, whatever you want to call it, which is a good timing for our new album to come out next year. That'll probably be at about the 12-year mark of the band. It's constantly changed members, man. We've probably changed members 20 times. I don't know. But over the past few years, it's been mostly the same guy on guitar, and off and on, it's been mostly the same guy on the drums. The bass player's only changed twice, though there will be a new bass player. I don't know who that will be when we go on tour again. So we will be looking for a new bass player. But until I beat this cancer crap, I don't think I'm going to be searching for a bass player right away. I don't want to, try and get somebody in the band and say, hey, yeah, we're not going to gig for a year, but you want to practice?
Yeah, fair enough. So how did the band start? Like where did it come from? And the GOAT and Your Mom, where did that come from?
Okay, this is a weird story. I started out playing music live, I would say, in Ventura, California. I grew up in Idaho. I'm not from California, but I was born in California in San Jose. But when I was 7 or 8 years old, I moved to Idaho. Started playing bass at 18 and started playing all kinds of weird type of music, listening to the Dr. Demento show. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Demento or not, but that's where Weird Al made his fame was from the Dr. Demento show. If you watch the Weird Al documentary, it'll talk about that, how he made it from there. Well, I listened to that, and they played everything from Frank Zappa to Weird Al and a bunch of other really weird music where the lyrics were just silly. And I got a lot of inspiration from that, but I didn't stick with that early on in my playing days. Early on in my playing days, I wanted to be more metal, more like Cliff Burton, and play the bass myself. And I was playing the bass myself for my first 3 bands, which was all me. I still did all the writing back then, just like I do now. It was called the GOAT of Mendez at first, so that's what GOAT actually truly stands for, is the GOAT of Mendez. And then it changed to the GOAT of Gomorrah, and then it changed to God of All Texas. And in God of All Texas, I started to write dirty and started to write a little more simple on certain songs. And I noticed that every one of my simple songs was more relatable to the audience. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start writing more in this simple manner. And at that time, I was doing karaoke in the bars and changing the lyrics to rock songs and making them dirty. And I noticed people were actually coming to karaoke just to see me do karaoke and change the rock songs into dirty songs. Like, I won't dry hump your steeple, if you please. Won't you dry hump my steeple like a stripper on her knees? Oh, won't you dry hump my steeple till I cream my jeans? Dry humping fucking revolution. Anyway, that's time keeps on slipping into the future. Anyway, that's a Steve Miller song. Anyway, so I did that, do a lot of songs, and then I just went even a little dirtier on my own and made my songs more catchy, like I was writing some of the catchier songs. Honestly, that wasn't what I had envisioned at first, but I didn't really have much of a vision other than to just try a bunch of different things and see what stuck to the wall. You throw something and you see what sticks. Okay, so I went with that, and then I started playing a little bit dirty in the God of All Texas era. But before God of All Texas, it was still Go to Gomorrah. And that band had kind of broken up, and I wrote this one somewhat dirty song, and I said something about licking a girl's butt. And I was playing it at an open mic, and the bartender came up to me afterwards, and he was like, I really like the new song, but if you could just take that one part out about licking her butt, And I was like, so you just told me to write all my songs about anal sex. Okay, I'll do that. And seriously, that had a little, I'd say it had a lot of influence when it came to it being more anal. I was already headed in towards a sexual direction, but then I was like, okay, so if that really bugged you that much, then other people are going to love it.
Yeah.
So this old man, he was nicknamed Satan by the Hells Angels, and he told me that I should go to Austin because they would be able to handle my shit. And I was already thinking about leaving. I already had it set in my mind. I'm going to get the fuck out of Ventura because they just couldn't handle it. And he was like, dude, Austin will love it. And so I came to Austin, Texas, just based on a man that's nicknamed Satan. But he came to a lot of my shows, so I knew he dug my shit. So I knew he knew what he was talking about. He said he had a couple sons out here. So I came out here, and he's actually in the crowd when the camera pans to the right.
Yeah.
You'll see, or maybe it pans to the left first and gets over to the right. Anyway, regardless, he's got a handlebar mustache, and he's what made me come to Austin. So that's kind of pretty much where it came about, a little bit of Dr. Demento, a lot of listening to David Allan Coe and his dirty songs and doing my damnedest to be as poetic as him, if not more poetic. I also based it more on how I feel. I feel like David Allan Coe just wrote dirty songs to write dirty songs because he had heard, what's the name of it? Dr. Hook. He had heard Dr. Hook playing dirty songs, and he wanted to play dirty songs too because he was like, man, I can do it better. And he did.
Yes.
And I heard David Allan Coe, and I didn't think I could do it better, but I thought I could write it from my own perspective of life, like what I want out of a woman and what I expect out of a woman. And then later on, it was about songs about women, it was a little bit about it, like certain women, like relationships that I had with women and the good times we had. I didn't want to write about all of those bad times we had like everybody else does. I wanted to write about the good times, all the ways we fucked her in the ass.
So are these, your, the lyrics on your songs, do they reflect your personal fetishes, your sexual stuff that you like?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To some extent, now you can read into it what you want, and you probably end up getting it wrong because I did put up a couple videos just so people would understand the whole shit on your chest part, because I don't want a girl to actually shit on my chest. I just want to have a girl leave me and break my heart and make me want to get this shit off my chest by writing a song about her. And so it's for good luck because I'll write a badass song if she's really good in bed and breaks my heart, And I wrote quite a few songs about certain women that did really, really well in the sack.
The animal sounds, are they something that you enjoy doing? Like having them do?
Animal sounds.
Yeah, the quacking and the...
Oh, well, that's just the gag reflex. I'm just telling a girl that, if she can just, take all of my cock into the back of her throat, then more than likely the gag reflex is going to... and there's that quack sound, so it's not necessarily an animal sound that I'm looking for. I'm just looking for performance quality. She's trying to take it all. It proves to me that she's trying to take it all when the gag reflex kicks in. Now, if she doesn't quack like a duck, more than likely she's not trying hard enough to get all of my cock into the back of her fucking throat. And I don't like that. It's not a welcoming aspect of the sexual performance that I expect from a woman. Now, there's also a woman that doesn't quack like a duck because she just doesn't have a gag reflex as much as another woman, and I don't got the biggest cock in the world. So there's some women that just don't gag on it, which that's great too. But, more often than not, a woman can only get past the circumcision line before she's...
Yeah, fair enough. So recording your EP, how did that come about? Because on Spotify it says, "Can you quack like a duck?" That's what the EP says it's called. With the
Can you quack?
Yeah, can you quack?
Well, originally the song was called "Can You Quack," but the person who uploaded it to YouTube put "Quack Like a Duck" instead. So it got known as "Quack Like a Duck" instead of "Can You Quack." So I decided to name the EP "Can You Quack," so people would know the actual name of the song. Now, on this next album, I'm going to release another slightly faster version of the song. Very minimally faster, but it's a little bit faster. And I'm going to call it "Quack Like a Duck" again, just to probably get more sales that way, because people will know it by the name. But I think people know it generally by both names pretty much about the same amount now that it's become nostalgic.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes. That was 2016. It was right before tour. We wanted to have something for tour. We finally put an act together and got a tour manager, and we got a drummer that knew how to record, and he recorded that for us. He actually recorded the new album for us as well. It's 13 tracks, but the 3-song demo, we had that for tour. So we had something physical, for people to grab up if they wanted to. And I've been trying to put something out ever since. And I swear half the reason I put out the 3-song demo was because let's just put something out quick. Let's get something out there because I don't have shit out there. I've just got this crappy demo of "Quack Like a Duck" because there's a crappy demo of "Quack Like a Duck" as well. That's just the first demo, and you find that under "The Goat and Your Mom" on Spotify, and "Goat and Your Mom" is where you find the "Can You Quack" on Spotify. So the will make all the difference on whether you get quality "Goat and Your Mom." But it's still a cool recording. I like having that first one too because it's got the original guitar player and the original not the original drummer but the second drummer.
What can you tell us about this new album? Like stylistically, is it much different than that EP? Is the topic,
the first song we released is going to blow your mind, and you're going to think that the rest of the album is going to sound like weird. You're going to be like, what the hell is this? This is a little bit strange. But no, overall, the album is very much like the EP. I'd say it sounds just a little better, just because my voice has honed in on where I've been trying to hone it in for years. I felt like, all my different Muppet versions of voices are related to on this album, where with the EP, you only get like 2, maybe 3 different. Jim Henson's a huge influence on my style of vocals. If you listen to the theme song from the Muppets, or just even just the songs they sing on the show. I don't know if you're a fan of Muppets or not, but if you ever watched the Muppet Show from back in the day, that had a huge influence. Oscar the Grouch was my favorite, but he wasn't on the Muppet Show. He was on Sesame Street, but Sesame Street was an influence too. And I feel like there's one song on the album that I hear Sesame Street on, but I don't know if everybody else will. And I'd like to throw that out as a tidbit just to see if anybody clicks on the same song and goes, is that the song he's talking about? And just curious, but that'll be when it releases, I'll bring it up again maybe and see what we get from that.
Nice. I'm curious, what kind of genre do you consider yourself, you guys?
I mean, honestly, technically, it's just shock rock. Okay, I call it smut fusion because I wanted to come up with my own term for the genre, because I feel like there's a little bit of jazz and a little bit of rock and a little bit of metal, and it's all fused together. Now that I've had Spinal Fusion myself, I'm like, really? Did I have to name my band Smut Fusion? And then I end up with Spinal Fusion. So it's like Spinal Tap mixed with it's really hard to classify it, but if I want to break it down to the bare bones, it's rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking rock and roll. That's all it is, man. It's just fucking rock and roll. It's Chuck Berry, That's all I'm doing. I'm just writing rock and roll. It's my own version of rock and roll. If you want to subgenre the shit out of crap, go ahead. And I did. I made my own subgenre. I called it Smut Fusion, but really it's just different lyrics written to rock and roll. However you want to write rock, you could call it punk rock if you want, because it's a little more simple than Black Sabbath. Unless you play like Paranoid. Paranoid would be a simple Black Sabbath song. Most of my songs are in the Paranoid simplicity. I do have a couple others, though, especially on this new album. There's a couple songs that have a little less simplicity and go further into my Goat of Gomorrah era style of playing. And part of that's because I did bring back one of those songs, the song that actually got me to, get hated on at that bar for, saying something about licking her butt, and that song's actually a little more, 5, 6 riffs, I think, and most of my songs are 3 or 4. And that's pretty much the standard for like Beatles, the Beatles, most of their early hits. But then you notice the Beatles on their later albums, they got a little more complex. They started playing 5 to 7 riffs, maybe even 9 occasionally, And I'm trying to do similar thing, like start out, simplistic like the Beatles, and then go a little further. I even told the drummer that's in that video when he first joined my band, because he was like, man, this seems like just simple shit. And I said, I don't care, man. If you want to Ringo Starr this shit, go for it. I don't care if you got the smallest kit in the world. And he just said, okay, fine. he just didn't care enough to fucking set up more than that. But when it comes right down to it, that guy's a badass drummer, man. He's in a band called Stabbing. It's got his girlfriend on bass and the guitar player's girlfriend on vocals. And they're really good, man. And the drums are phenomenal in that band. Like he has a full kit and just kicks ass. But yeah, if you want to look up the band Stabbing, it's death metal, brutal death metal, as they call it these days when it comes to his kind of style. Although the drums are louder than anything, so I don't know if this kind of if that kind of music deserves like its own subgenre of brutal death metal. Because I've noticed a lot of bands, and some of them I'm really into, in the brutal death metal scene lately are just being really overblown by the drums, and the drums are just really loud up front. But enough of that. What's the next question?
Well, the next question is actually like I want to talk about. So obviously the famous video, the Quack video that went viral however many years ago. When did you start
it's about 11 now.
Yeah, 11. When did you start to feel the notoriety or the viral of that? Like, did you guys notice any like major, messages or viral, people contacting you or anything blow up after that video?
It was about 2 months after the video was put up that people downtown, I was busking. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term, but busking is basically a street musician. And you walk up and down the street. Well, I was walking up the street downtown with my banana hammock, sometimes with my bass, sometimes with the tambourine. Later on, more with the tambourine, less with the bass, because I kept either almost dropping the bass or somebody getting into an altercation with me to where I didn't, Anyway, but somebody came up to me, over and over there for about 2 months. After about 2 months, like, people just kept coming up to me like, dude, your shit's going off the hook, man. It's like 50,000 views, and then 75,000 views, and then boom, it's on Tosh. And when it was on Tosh, I'd say that's when I really felt it. At first I was like, yeah, cool, it's doing good on YouTube. I didn't know that was going to relate to it getting put on Tosh. It getting put on Tosh was really what made me go, wow, okay, holy shit, I'm on TV. And I was just laying on the couch at my buddy's house. I was actually renting his couch for $200 a month at the time. And he's like, my phone was just sitting there, and I was passed out, and I heard it ringing, and I was like, oh shit, what's going on? And it kept ringing and messaging, and everybody like that I knew was hitting me up that saw it. And so I missed the first one, but it showed like twice that day, like one right after the other. They just showed the same episode twice on Comedy Central, and my friend had cable. And so I just watched it the second time, and I was like, wow, right on, fucking heck. And I was surprised that he didn't put us down more than he did. The whole heroin shot and the don't burn crosses kind of crap, that was a little bit of a shot, but I didn't mind. That was funny. I dug it. I can take a joke.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, like I said, I remember seeing that video on another platform, and I was just, it stuck in my head all these years. And that's why I reached out to you recently. I'm like, oh, I remember this band. Like, I want to reach out, and talk to you.
Right on. I'm glad that we keep coming up in people's mind. I'm glad that we become nostalgic. I feel like the next tour will be all the better because of it.
Yeah. So about your touring, so what are your plans for the near future as far as touring goes? Do you have any places in particular, or you want to go to?
Well, we're going to go east again. We did go west on our last tour in 2019, right before the pandemic. West is just not. It just doesn't pay to go out that way, and I got to pay rent, man. But I saved up enough money to go ahead and do tour out west once because I knew the boys wanted to do it, and because they hadn't been out west. I came from the west, so it's nothing new to me. But it was still fun, good times, man. It's always a good time to tour, no matter what. And it's just that there's so much distance in between each location when you go out west here in America that you go to one gig and then you got to travel to the next, and it's so far, and they don't pay as much as they pay out east. I'm looking to try and get at least $500 a show, if not somewhere near $9. Of course, merch sales help, but it's just tough being able to afford to tour, and I got to pay all my members in order to make them be able to afford to do it. They're not making as much at their job, as much at what we're doing as they are at their job. But if they make close to what they're making at their job, then they can afford to take a couple weeks off from their regular job and do a little tour. Well, that's all we do is like a 2-week tour. That's all we can afford to do. Now, we would love to do a month. We would love to do longer. But when it comes right down to it, this band is just not popular enough. I'd love us to be more popular than we are, but we're popular enough to, make a little bit of money. Now, if we could make enough to stay on tour forever, hell, I'd stay on tour forever. I'd love that. But it's just not fiscally possible without winding up homeless when we come back from tour.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you have a favorite city to tour in that you have toured in?
I'd say Pennsylvania is my favorite place to play. It's not necessarily the town that we play in. We've played in Philly and we've played in Dalton, and I think there might be one other place that we've played there as well. But it just seems like they seem to enjoy the show the most. We've played there more than anywhere. The state of Philadelphia. I'm not going to just say, state of Pennsylvania. Sorry, but I don't know. Hard to say. Favorite show would be Wisconsin. We played a show in Wisconsin. I really enjoyed that show. I don't remember what the name of the town was. It was and then there was another town in Crownsville, Maryland. But that was just like for a bunch of kids that had just graduated from high school, and they were all just rolling on the floor laughing. They were loving it. You know, playing for kids is the best thing in the world. When someone's impressionable and between the ages of 18 and 23, I feel like that's the crowd that really just gets their mind really blown, more so than somebody that's a little older like me, or somebody that's in their 20s or 30s, late 20s or 30s. But I still think, you know, there's that crowd too. I just feel like the people that really just get their mind blown are always young, but that's understandable. You know, you're impressionable.
Yeah. Do you feel for you personally, since the EP dropped like all the way through to this new album, do you notice anything different in your recording style, in your writing process, like anything different over the years?
Pretty much just same way of writing, man. I mean, I've got my influences. I would say that on the album there's more of my influences to notice, whereas on the EP, you know, there's only 3 songs, so you only get to hear so many of my different influences.
Yeah.
Whereas on the new album, yeah, you're going to hear more influences. You're going to hear a little more of my David Lee Roth influence. I don't know if you'll notice it though, because I really don't have his voice. There's just no way. I don't have. I can't do that. I don't have those highs, you know, and he doesn't either anymore. But beyond that, I think there's just a little more AC/DC and a little more Wasp and a little more David Lee Roth. I think those are the 3 influences you'll hear more of than you did on the EP. Musically, even especially on a song called Faucet, that song is probably the most AC/DC I've ever written. The most of that sound, whereas most of the time it's actually Black Sabbath. And most people aren't even going to notice the Black Sabbath because I don't sing anything like Ozzy. You know? I don't even have similar patterns, really. I tried to come up with my own jingle-ish patterns. I try to be as catchy as a TV jingle sometimes. I've noticed that that actually has a little bit of an influence on my style as well. And you might notice that as well. There's more TV jingle style on this album than there was on the 3-song demo. That was more of a musically I'd even say a little bit of Blue Oyster Cult on the 3-song demo.
So this new album, will it be released on all platforms like normal, like the other EP?
Yeah, all the platforms. We might go DistroKid this time instead of CD Baby. I'm considering that. I've heard good things about DistroKid. I've seen a lot of my favorite artists like Cancer Slug use DistroKid, so I'm considering that. I don't know if you know who Cancer Slug is, but they sound a lot like the Misfits.
Oh, cool! I love the Misfits.
Yeah, if you love the Misfits, you'll love Cancer Slug. Check them out; it's fucking awesome.
I will, definitely will. I love horror punk in general. I love punk.
Yeah, they have a little bit more slightly different lyrics, but it's still got that same horror punk sound. As a matter of fact, the vocalist for Cancer Slug actually does vocals for Doyle from the Misfits in his project. I don't know if you've listened to Doyle's project or not, but he does the vocals for that.
Oh wow, I've definitely heard of it. I haven't checked out his solo stuff, but I have a lot of friends who are fans of it.
Right on. Yeah, no, Cancer Slug's great. That especially their what it was, Dillagaff is a great song. Trying to think of the other one. What's it called? Dick Solid. Dick Solid is their best song.
Great names. Do you have a favorite comedy music album?
A comedy music album. Yeah, that would be just Underground by David Allan Coe.
Nice. And why is that your favorite?
It's just the dirtiest shit you ever heard in your life, other than what maybe I'm doing.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to sex genre comedy music. Now, I mean, there's other comedy music as well, but I don't think I would pick an album so much in that category as I would songs. Songs that I grew up on. There was a song called "Dead Puppies" that was huge. What was the other song that was Polka Dot Undies, Star Trekking Across the Universe, Fish Heads, roly poly fish heads, eat them up, yum. That was great. That was huge. There's certain songs that just like really had an influence on the catchy, weird sound that I love doing. But then there's, adding the sex to it, and that was that most of that influence is really just David Allan Coe on the lyrical stuff. But at the same time, that's country music, and I'm playing rock and roll, and I don't know, some of that dirty stuff that he plays is almost rock and roll, so it's got a kind of country rock atmosphere to it, even blues a little bit every now and then.
Yeah.
Trying to think of any other comedy recording I would dig, and I would just relate to Eddie Murphy. Can't remember what album it was called though, but there was an Eddie Murphy album that I listened to on cassette. No, it was an album. Like he had a couple of cassettes where he had funny songs at the end of each one. Like he would have his whole comedy routine on the album, and then he would have a funny song at the end of side one and a funny song at the end of side two. And those were great songs. And I can't remember the name of either one of them, but there was that album where Eddie Murphy came out with, and he had those really funny songs about putting G.I. Joe up his butt or some shit. And it was just hilarious.
Wow, never heard of it.
So yeah, Eddie Murphy's definitely a big one. Richard Pryor's another one. I can't name it. I can't say the name of the album that is my favorite from Richard Pryor. That would be Super N-Word.
Yep, I know it.
I've got it on cassette. I still have it on cassette.
Yep. That is a great album.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Were you speaking about, sexualized music, sexualized lyrics, are you a fan of Prince? I know he pushed the boundaries.
I love Prince. Prince was actually the first cassette I bought. I bought in 1999 when I was 12 years old.
Yeah. It's actually crazy.
When I heard the song Let's Pretend We're Married, I was just like, yeah, because he said, I would sincerely like to fuck the taste right out of your mouth. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I was 12 years old, though, so you're really impressionable at that age, and you're like, holy shit, that's fucking hilarious. And you just want to play that song over and over, and I probably ruined a couple cassettes just rewinding and fast forwarding to get it to play that part again. Hey, you got to hear this.
It's like, I find it crazy, going back to listen to, because at the moment I'm on a Controversy kick, the albums. And it's crazy going back to
Controversy, yeah, that's a great album. After I bought 1999, it was just like all over. Like I just wanted to hear everything from him. And yeah, Controversy is a great album. Isn't that the one with oh shit, I can't remember the name of the song. Sister?
No.
Or is that on Dirty Mind? No, that's on Dirty Mind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But it's crazy because, in Controversy, there's you can hear Prince having sex. There's the moaning. 2 minutes of the last song over the end of the song.
Yeah. I actually have a little bit of that on one of our tracks as well. I did some sex sounds to add to it. And Bon Jovi did that too on Slippery When Wet. I think Prince did it first though, but I'm not sure. I don't know that Prince might have been the Doors that did it first, because I think I think there's a rumor that Jim was getting head while he was singing one of the songs.
That's pretty cool.
But I don't know that was sex sounds. It was just him singing a song while he was getting head. So
yeah,
not the same. But yeah, I think Prince might have been the first to do that. Put sex sounds in a song. And I didn't even think of my Prince influence when I thought of putting it in the song. I just thought, hey, this song needs some moaning and groaning.
Yeah. I gotta say, talking about Prince, the one song I always love on the album is that Russia song, "Talk to Russia." Ronnie, "Talk to Russia." Where it's that short, like really 2-minute song.
That is so strange. It's like it's got a little bit of a Chuck Berry influence. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like that's a really weird song. I haven't even just you mentioning it. I'm like, whoa, yeah, it takes me back. Like, because I haven't heard that song in a long ass time. Like, because I haven't listened to that album. I listened more to Dirty Mind, I'll admit, but I did love Controversy as well. Dirty Mind's even better to me because the whole "Jack Me Off" song.
Oh yeah.
And what's the other one? The one about his first time being with his sister. Like I'm like, really? Wow, dude. Okay. I still love you anyway.
Yeah. Nah, he pushed the boundaries for sure. Like,
no doubt.
Like, it's insane. Actually, I bought the his second posthumous album originals of all the covers he did and all the covers of popular songs he made that he wrote. And it's like a big vinyl. It's like 3 CDs.
All the people that did his songs.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Right on. That's cool. Sinead O'Connor was obviously a big one. She just passed.
Yeah.
But like she was never even popular for anything else, as far as I know. Like it was just that song, and Prince wrote that. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. I heard this year that they're going to release album called Camille, and that apparently Jack White owns the rights to it or something. I don't know how this is all possible, but apparently he put some sort of an effect on his voice to make him sound more like a female, and never released it. It was supposed to come out right about the time Sign of the Times came out, and and there's even a couple tracks that are on Sign of the Times that were going to be Camille songs. So I can't wait to hear that if it actually eventually does come out. I've heard rumors, but I haven't seen any fruition of it. I did buy his last album. It wasn't that good, but I bought it anyway.
Yeah. That reminds me. Have you heard the Prince Thriller conspiracy? Like there was a rumor that apparently Michael Jackson showed Prince the album Thriller before it came out. And then apparently Prince remade it to show how it should be done. And it never got released. Oh, if that's true.
Wow. I don't know if that can be released. But I'd love to hear it. No, it's fun to hear all this stuff that comes out after artists pass that they wouldn't probably have ever let you see.
Yeah.
And I hope to leave some of that behind myself. We'll see.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of songs in the vault?
Another 20 years. I think I will have a lot of songs in the vault in the next 20 years. Because I plan to just record as much as I can. Man, once cancer hits you, you go, oh shit, I'm old. I need to get my shit done, and because this could hit me again. You never know. I mean, I'm beating it, man. I know I'm gonna beat it. But it takes 6 rounds of chemo, and I'm doing well. But I always feel like now, okay, well, maybe I'll just get cancer again. Because from what I've seen with other people, they get cancer, and then 10 years later, they get it again. And they usually beat it the first couple times. But after the first couple times, they end up losing. So I'm like, okay, I've only got 20 years left is how I'm going to look at it. And if I only got 20 years left, I need to kick some fucking ass right now.
Yeah.
But until I can walk again, in which I am able to walk a little, but not very much. It's very limited. Longest I've walked so far is like 1,600 feet, which is still pretty far for how bedridden I was when this shit hit me and they had to rip it out of my back. Yeah. But enough of the cancer crap. If you do want to donate to it, the GoFundMe is on the Goat and Your Mom page on Facebook.
Yep. I'll make sure to link it on top when I edit.
Right on. Thanks.
So, I was just thinking how cool would it be? You should make for a song in your vault, you should make a purposely posthumous song Like, hey,
I do. I have songs for the vault. I have songs for the vault. Like literally, I don't want to release them while I'm alive.
Nice.
So yeah. We'll go there when I'm dead.
Well, make sure you shout me out when you're dead. Remember the time I was on the SAGAS podcast when I was alive?
I have thought about writing a song about super fans because I do have a few people that talk to me pretty often, and because I'm not that goddamn popular, I have time to talk to them. I have like 4 guys that call me or message me or give me a little bit of money every now and then. And I got my OnlyFans as well, onlyfans.com/goatinyourmom. Show off my shit. It's mostly gay guys, but whatever, I don't care. I think there's one woman on there.
You do what you got to do.
Yeah, gay for pay.
And plus in this economy, I don't think anyone's judging anyone.
No, there's just make money any way you can, man, and whatever it takes to get to enjoy your life the most. When it comes right down to it, I've only got a few more shows on my bucket list. I'm going to go see Tenacious D here September. It's the last show of their tour, so it should be pretty awesome. There's only one band I can't see enough of because we don't have Van Halen anymore. We don't have Black Sabbath anymore. So since we don't have Black Sabbath or Van Halen, my favorite band to see live is Autopsy. And I'm really into death metal, love the shit out of it, but Autopsy's like huge on my list. I do like Deicide a lot. They are my favorite band of all time, but because they don't have the Hoffman brothers, I don't care about seeing them live over and over again. Whereas with Autopsy, they've only ever changed the bass player, and they constantly change the bass player. Like over the years, they've changed the bass player several times. So I don't even consider the bass player necessary to be an original member.
Yeah.
So I want to see Autopsy over and over and over and over because they're basically all original members as far as I'm concerned, because the bass player just doesn't count as an original member ever, because they're just, the first album had Steve DiGiorgio, the best bass player alive, if you ask me.
Yeah.
The only other bass player, I don't know the kid's name, that's anywhere as good as Steve. It's this band called Asterism. They're from Japan. And man, the kid is phenomenal. The girl on guitar is pretty good. The drummer's pretty good, but I think he's the standout for me. They don't have vocals. It's just an instrumental band. I think it's awesome. It's a little weird. If you watch anime, you've probably heard similar music, but at least they don't sing, because I don't like when they sing to Japanime or whatever you call it. I don't know what to call it. But it's rock and roll to me when they play it, because there's no lyrics. Have you heard Asterism?
No, I haven't, but I love anime.
Okay. Well, check out Asterism. It's the best Japanime rock and roll you've ever heard in your life, I swear. I
trust you. And speaking on death metal real quick, I actually interviewed both Randy Burns, the guy that produced Death's album, Scream Bloody Gore, the guy that produced that, and the drummer from Cannibal Corpse.
That's relative to Autopsy, because the drummer from Autopsy, Chris Reifert, was the drummer on that album.
Yeah, it was a wild interview, and very nice guy, and Cannibal Corpse, the drummer. I got him on once, which was insane.
Kisowicz or something. I can't ever say his last name right.
No one does. It's just Paul. I interviewed Paul.
There you go. He's an awesome drummer. He's phenomenal. Like one of the best drummers in death metal for damn sure. Cannibal Corpse is one of the bands that just doesn't put out bad music. Like there's not a bad Cannibal Corpse album. There just isn't.
Yeah.
Like everybody, almost any band you listen to in death metal, there's one album that you're like,
Yeah.
But I can't say that about Cannibal Corpse, man. It's just fucking everything's great. Their new one's really good. Well, it's only a couple years old, but whatever.
What's weird? When I was interviewing the drummer Paul, like, it's weird because you listen to their music so often as we do, and then I expect this sociopath, this serial killer guy, like, because of the lyrics. I expect this menacing guy, and he's like, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, this is the drummer. Like, it's a weird to humanize it is a weird event. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe when you say all that in your lyrics, you get it out of your system.
Yeah, they're probably the most hippiest guys ever. Peaceful guys because of that. No, yeah, death metal is great. Is there anything that you want to anyone or anything you want to promote or shout out while we're here? Like anything you want to let the fans know about?
I mean, other than stating the new album and telling you I'm shooting for September to try and be on tour. And I don't mean this September, I mean next September.
Yep.
It's that's what I'm going for, man. I'm trying to make shit happen. We'll be in the Northeast. We're gonna try and tour Florida. I don't know. We'll see. I want to play as many places as possible all over the country. I wish I could come to other countries, just can't afford it. When it comes right down to it, there's the whole, you got to pay to play when it comes right down to it, and so to some extent I would have to make a certain amount per show, and I'm not even sure. I haven't put down the math that it would take, to have 20 shows in Australia or something and be able to afford to do that, make it fiscally possible. I would say probably somewhere near 1,200 a show is my guess. 20 shows at 1,200 a piece, I could probably pull off an Australian tour. But I just don't see anybody paying us that fucking much per show. I just don't. I wish I could. And that's something I want to, say to the fans is dude, I'd love to fucking play in your fucking country, but until we get more popular and we can make the money that we need to make per show in order to be able to make it fiscally possible, it's just not going to happen. So come to America and see us on tour. When we post about the tour, put the plane tickets down, come see us. I know it'll probably cost you $1,200 to do it, but hey, there's some cool sights to see here, I'm sure, that you might want to see. I don't know. If we play in Pennsylvania and you want to see us in Pennsylvania, you can see the Rocky statue. You can see I love Pennsylvania because of the Pittsburgh Pirates, but that's actually just because my stepdad's last name was Penny, and he liked the hat because it had a P on it. Well, I ended up liking the Pirates and then the Raiders, and the Raiders are Pirates. It's the coolest teams. I grew up in Idaho. There was no professional teams in Idaho.
Yeah, I believe it.
Trying to think of anything else to shout out. That's about it.
Nice. Well, I'm going to try my best on my platform, My Connects, to pump this interview up, pump your music up, and let's see how much more attention we can get you guys.
All right. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. All right. Well, yeah, thank you very much for this. It'll be posted next week. Wednesday is normally my schedule for uploading Saga. So as soon as it's uploaded, I'll obviously send it to you, and I'll send it out to as many people as I can, and we'll try and make this the second viral video for you.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
You too, man.
Thank you. Have a good one.